Good evening, everyone. Welcome to CPA Presents. It is Monday, April 21st, 2025. My name is Mike Kasalniak. I'm the CPA Flight Safety Chair, and tonight's topic is aircraft rescue and firefighting, also known as ARFF. And the presentation tonight is going to be by Lieutenant Pierce Jockaway. Lieutenant Jockaway has been with the South Metro Fire Rescue since 2012. He has led the South Metro ARFF team since 2020 and has responded to numerous aviation accidents both on and off Centennial Airport's property. Most notably, he responded to a mid-air collision north of Centennial Airport in 2021 and a lane care into power lines south of Centennial in 2021. In his tenure as the ARFF team coordinator, he has greatly increased the equipment, apparatus, training, and capabilities of the team. In 2024, the addition of a live fire fuselage was put in service at the ARFF training facility, which is located on Centennial Airport grounds. Excuse me. Improvements at the 5+ acre facility give real-life training opportunities for all ARFF members who train monthly on aircraft rescue firefighting. South Metro Fire Rescue provides ARFF coverage to Centennial Airport, located in Centennial, Colorado. Centennial Airport is the busiest general aviation airport in the country, with an average of 325,000 operations a year. South Metro has 2 designated ARFF stations, Station 35 and 44. Oh, I'm sorry. Stations 35 and 44 have firefighters who are specifically trained in ARFF and respond in 3 frontline ARFF-specific apparatuses that carry specialized tools, water, foam, Purple K, and the ARFF team also has a ready reserve of ARFF apparatus that is utilized during routine maintenance of frontline apparatus and for training at the ARFF training facility. Okay. Oh. In addition to providing ARFF coverage, so aircraft, South Metro also covers the hangars, businesses, and fuel farms that make up Centennial Airport. The ARFF team will also respond to aircraft accidents that happen off the airfield within South Metro's jurisdiction and surrounding districts through auto or mutual aid agreements. If you would like to receive Wings credit for this presentation, please email me at flightsafety@coloradopilots.org. And tonight, if you have questions, please put them in the chat and we will get to them at the end of the presentation. I'd like now to turn it over to Lieutenant Jockaway, and thank you very much for accepting our invitation tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Let me see if I can get this to come up. Is that showing all right?
Yes.
Perfect. Well, thanks for having me, Mike, and going back and forth here for the last couple months with working with my schedule and how busy it is. But glad to be here, and really tonight I'm just going to go over the South Metro ARFF team and kind of our response to Centennial Airport and the relationship that we have with them, and kind of where we've been and where we're going. So, all right. So within South Metro and specifically with the ARFF team, we follow Part 139 as close as possible. Really, the only requirement that we don't meet is having a station on the airfield. So, like you described in the opening there, we do have 2 stations that are off the airfield that are responsible for responding to Centennial Airport, but then we're also cross-trained as firefighters and paramedics or EMTs who respond to incidents within the jurisdiction as well. So we also follow NFPA 1003, which is the job requirement for aircraft firefighter, and then the National Aerospace Standard. We follow as we have a contractor that's located in Centennial that requires us to meet those requirements as well. So the equipment that we have on our ARFF apparatus exceed the requirements from Part 139 and NAS 3306. And then South Metro's ARFF team personnel are all state certified, or state of Colorado certified in ARFF. And that happens with a 40-hour class that we're now putting on in-house here at South Metro, and successful completion of a written test. But for years, we would send folks to DIA or Montana, Alaska, Phoenix. There's several training facilities throughout the region that we'll send people to. But it's a 40-hour class that our folks go through that's really focused on aircraft rescue and the different nuances that go into responding to an aircraft emergency. We staff a minimum of two ARFF personnel at each station each day. That number typically exceeds that, anywhere between 3 and 4. And then we have other people that are kind of scattered throughout our district that also are certified that can come in and help if needed. We conduct monthly drills on all 3 shifts. We have 3 shifts that work at South Metro. They work a 48-hour shift. It's a 48-96, so 2 days on, 4 days off, with 3 overall shifts. And so each of the shifts train on the same topic monthly, and get about 4 hours a month guaranteed. And a lot of times they're up there several hours more each month, just because we like aviation and want to be good at what we do. And then we have 3 live fire burns that we conduct each year at our ARFF training facility, which I'll get into here in just a little bit. But this year we'll actually increase to 5, which is really great for us. And then each member that gets hired on with South Metro's, we put them through a basic course and allow them to have basic knowledge and understanding of aircraft emergencies and responding to the airport when they go through their academy. So when they get close to graduating the 20-week academy that they're going through, they'll get a full day with the ARFF team, in which we provide them just a little bit better understanding and knowledge once they get out of the academy and working with some of our folks if they respond to the airport and the nuances that come with responding to an FAA controlled airport. Our station locations, if you're not familiar with our area, Station 35, which is the station to the north, it's actually on Centennial Airport property, but not within the perimeter fence. It's located at Arapahoe Road and in Peoria. And then Station 44 is located to the south of the airfield at Lincoln and Peoria, in kind of the Meridian area. So just those 2 little areas or bubbles there show where we are in relation to the airport. So this is Station 35. It's there's the address of it, but this one has 4 personnel. Most of them, if not all 4 each day, are trained and state certified, and they cross staff a ladder truck or what we call an aerial, and then they have 2 ARFF trucks there. This is one of the ARFF trucks that they have. This is Red 1. It's a 2023 Oshkosh Striker. It's got 1,500 gallons of water on it, 210 gallons of F3, which is the fluorine-free foam that we have switched to here recently with the mandates that have come out from the FAA and the PFAS, or cancer-causing agents that are being found in ARFF, or the foam that we used before that. And it's got 500 pounds of purple K. And I'm sure I'll get a question on it, but I'll hit it right now. Yes, its name is Red 1. It is green in color, but the airport, when we got these new apparatus, asked that we stick with the FAA coloring scheme and not go with our typical black over red color, just for visibility, as you all are aware, but just to stay within some guidelines there. But red, a lot of different airports name their trucks red. So red fire crash, that's why it's called Red 1. This is Red 3. It's a 2015 Oshkosh Stinger. It's what we typically call a RIV, or a rapid intervention vehicle. It carries 300 gallons of water, 50 gallons of ARFF foam. So this is a foam that we're trying to get rid of, and then also has 500 pounds of purple K. A little smaller. So two individuals from Station 35 will get onto the big truck, Red 1, and then 2 will split into this truck here. Station 44, like I mentioned, it was at Lincoln and Peoria. It's got 7 personnel that are staffed out of that. They staff a fire engine, medic unit or an ambulance, a safety, and then an ARFF truck, which is Red 2. The engine cross staffs, and all 4 of them will jump over onto Red 2 to respond to the airport. Similar to Red 1, this is a twin. So it's a 2023 Oshkosh Striker, 1,500 gallons of water, 200 gallons of the F3 foam, and then 500 pounds of Purple K. We got these 2 at the same time. They were built, custom built for South Metro in a partnership with Centennial Airport. So we were able to purchase one. South Metro purchased one, and then the airport was gracious enough to purchase the second vehicle for us. So we were able to get 2 at the same time. This is a medic unit, Medic 44, or an ambulance. We have members that are staffed on the medic unit. This is a crash medic, so they're trained in ARFF, and they have specific responsibilities and roles when they respond to the airport or an aircraft emergency on or off the airport that will help us initially kind of combat the issue that we're dealing with, and then they can revert into a patient care or a triage role to figure out how many people we're dealing with, who needs treatment, and triage them and order enough resources to get those people transported to hospitals if needed. This is Red 4. So this is a ready reserve that we have at the airport. It's a 1995 E1 Titan, very similar in the gallonage. It's got 1,500 gallons of water, 200 gallons of ARFF foam, and then 500 pounds of Purple K. And like I mentioned before, so the apparatus that we have with the ARFF, we're really trying not to expel that foam just because of the PFAS that is incorporated in it, and the EPA guidelines that come with a cleanup afterwards. So with the F3 being a cleaner, non-PFAS foam, that's going to be our go-to. We're hoping that we'll have all of our apparatus that have ARFF in them mitigated by August, and then we'll be running fluorine-free foam F3 come that time. This is a reserve, so it doesn't respond all the time, but when Red 1 or Red 2 or Red 3 goes down for maintenance, we put this into service, and it acts as our frontline apparatus. It holds a crew of 4 and a little bit less tooling or equipment than what Red 1 or 2 has. So types of emergencies, I'm not sure how familiar you all are with our alerts, but an alert 1, and this is based off of some information that pilots like yourself are conveying to the air traffic control, whatever the nature or problem that you're experiencing with your aircraft. They'll determine kind of the alert level that they want to go with. So an alert 1 is very minor. It may not result in a crash, but they're just kind of notifying us that there's a plane that's inbound or an aircraft that's inbound that is experiencing an issue. So we get notification to the stations. The ARFF teams are made aware of it, but we actually don't respond to the airport. It's more we just will monitor the radio and the airport frequency to make sure that the plane lands. If we determine that we wanted to increase to a higher level, we can certainly do that, and so can airport operations that we work with pretty closely. They can always upgrade it to a higher level, but it's very frequent that happens. And then we have alert 2. This is where we will respond to an airport or to the airport. And the feedback that the air traffic controllers are getting is this may result in some type of a crash or a larger incident. So we'll respond from both stations, and typically it's so you get 6 pieces of apparatus. So you get Red 1, Red 2, Red 3, the medic unit, a safety, which is a single resource or a single individual on a F-150 truck, and then a battalion chief will also respond. And the great thing about what we've set up at Centennial is they have our station alerting software in the tower. So as soon as they're notified that you're declaring an emergency or an aircraft is in trouble, they hit two buttons in the tower that will automatically then set our tones off in the station, which gives us about anywhere from 45 minutes to a minute and a half of lead time to get out the door. So that's been a nice change that we've had up there for several years now. It just allows us to get on the road, and then our dispatch center will start getting in more information. Then in Alert 3, it's a confirmed crash that we've had, whether it's on the airport or off the airport. Additional resources are typically responding to an Alert 3, again, whether it's on the airport or not, determines what apparatus and resources we get. But it's all built into our computer-aided dispatch or CAD system that our dispatchers will hit a couple buttons, and then it starts notifying all the units to respond. We try to be out the door in a minute and a half, so that's dress out time, getting in the truck, and then rolling out the door. We try to meet that for about 90% of the time is what we'd like to do. So imagine getting out to your garage, getting all your clothes on, getting in a truck, and responding is about a minute and a half is what we're shooting for. And then each of our apparatus have what we call mobile data terminals, or an MDT. It's a computer screen in there that's tied into our CAD system that updates us in real time with information that they're getting from either airport operations or the tower or other means, 911 callers if it's off the airport. So that's been a big benefit to us. In 2024, we had 74 responses to the airport or off the airport. This picture here is of a plane crash or a crash that we had on C47 or E470, just short of the of 35 right, if you're familiar with Centennial. While we're en route, we have resources that we're going to try to get as much information as we can on the aircraft that's coming into the airport. This guidebook is pretty specific to Centennial Airport. We've worked with them to identify the most common aircraft that come into Centennial Airport and built this guidebook. So you can see on the right-hand side picture there, that's one of the pages that's in the book. It'll tell us just general information, what type of fuel it has, the capacity of fuel, the burn rate, and then if the occupants are, different layouts or number of passengers that may be on board, and then length, wingspan, and the height. It gets a little more helpful when we get into some of the bigger planes, some of the jets that are coming in. Obviously, we don't know what the interior configuration may be, but ultimately how many passengers may be on board if we're not able to get that information from the pilot that's declaring an emergency. So it's just helpful information for us that we're trying to get as much info, looking at the door handles, where are the door placements, what type of a door handle is it, typically on like a Cessna or something a little smaller, single engine prop. It's going to have just a simple door handle. Where we get into the jets and pressurization of the cabin, it's going to be a different point of entry or different handle for us to get inside. We also have iPads that are equipped with the ADSB account. So if we get your tail number or get the tail number of the aircraft that's coming in, we're going to pull that info up as well. It gives us a picture. If the plane's registered, it just gives us more information. The flight path where you've come from. Are you circling? Are you burning fuel? So we try to get as much information as we can that we have to our disposal to figure out what may be happening, where you might be, and just planning for the worst, unfortunately. But that's what we're here for. We have staging locations that are pre-designated for all of our apparatus. So we have an Alpha 8, so the Alpha 8 connector, the Alpha 14 connector are for the parallels, north-south. And the reason that we do those two connectors is they allow direct access across the Alpha 3-5 right, the Bravo to 3-5 left, or 1-7 right, 1-7 left, depending upon the direction that you're coming in from. Any other connector doesn't allow that, so we would be kind of zigzagging to wherever your incident may be. So that's why we stage where we stage. We stay in the non-movement area and wait for you to land if we're there before you land, and if not, then we're getting clearances across into the movement area, working with airport operations and the tower to get those clearances. And then our crosswind, or the 10-2-8, we have a Delta 1 and a Charlie 3. Those are just the connectors. Again, just allows us access to those runways and taxiways. So we like everybody, do our best to understand the airport, and our ARFF team does a great job of understanding where they can go and where they can't go. When we run into some trouble is people that aren't familiar with the airport that are coming out on an engine or a single resource, a battalion chief. We've gotten into some issues with some incursions, and so all of our mapping and the mobile data terminals that are in our truck and the mapping, all have been updated to really make it very clear that we need access or clearance to get out into certain areas of the airport. So this red overlay is very similar to the maps, and yes, it's a very old picture. There's a ton of growth happening out at Centennial right now, but to get into the movement areas, we work with airport operations, who then works with the tower. In our radios, we have airport operations frequency built in, and it's a simple spin of the dial to get over to talk to the airport. If needed, airport operations will provide an escort to the location that we need to. But if it's the ARFF team, we're very well versed in how we're getting out there, as long as the airport operations folks are comfortable in our intentions of how we're going to get out there. It makes it a little easier, and they're more comfortable with that. It's when we get later arriving units that are coming in that we get a little squirrely with, and we'll try to get them an escort. We will respond into a movement area when needed, and that's kind of designated or denoted when either you can't make it off the runway for whatever reason, or you've suffered a crash. The ARFF team is very knowledgeable about the airport and the layout, especially with access. We have access all around the airport that we can utilize through gates and so forth if needed, but typically we try to stay to the improved surfaces, just based off how big our vehicles are that are coming out there. And anytime we're on the airport, we notify airport operations that we're out there, and if we do have an incident, we'll typically unify with them. So we'll have somebody that is sitting at a window, or airport operations will come and sit in one of our trucks, and we can work through whatever notifications need to happen, whether it's through the FAA or NTSB, that if there's a reason for an investigation. They've been great to work with. They're a wonderful partner. So tactical placement, really any airport that you all are flying into, there's a reason why we set up where we set up. Typically, our bigger apparatus are going to take the nose for the 12 o'clock position, and the tail or just offset. And then our little RIV, Red 3, will set up typically on the left side, because the majority, not all, but the majority of the planes that are coming into Centennial don't have a right side egress. And if they do, it's typically over the right side wing. So we'll set up on the left-hand side so that we can set up what we call an egress corridor, to where we want to get occupants of the plane out as quickly as possible, in the safest fashion possible. But if you've got a fire or a fuel leak that is contaminating that area or threatening to catch on fire, we set that truck there so that we can foam it and still protect folks that are going in, our folks that are going in, and then the people that are coming out, any souls that are on board that are able to get out on their own. Typically, the 12 o'clock position will stay in command until a battalion chief arrives, and then the crew that's at the 6 o'clock position will make entry into the aircraft with a hose line if it's still on fire, and we coordinate ventilation with a left side rear door if possible to try to push product of combustion out of the fuselage and away from any surviving occupants that are in there, and then we'll start a rescue. We try to be as methodical and quick as possible to get into some of these. So that's kind of where we set up, and you'll see with the turrets and everything else, we may apply water and or foam to the aircraft prior to exiting, and that's just for the purposes of fuel-fed fire, or we've got fuel on the ground that they ignite, and then we'll position and get our folks moving to the interior. Just a picture of an incident of our tactical placement and how we're trying to set up. We're just trying to set ourselves up for success and overall incident success. I'm just going to get into a couple of the crashes that Mike, you talked about with the land care evolution that went into the power lines a couple of years ago. This was off the airport, and if anybody's familiar with the south side or Ridgegate and I-25 or the Lone Tree area, you know that we get up onto the bluffs there. So access for us can sometimes be an issue. So it is certainly nice to have the bigger ARFF trucks that can get pretty much anywhere they need to go. But some of our smaller apparatus have some trouble. This was the mid-air collision that we had north of the airfield several years ago. The one on the left was the key line pilot that declared an emergency initially, thinking his engine went out. And as you can see, he suffered a pretty catastrophic rupture of his fuselage on the rear portion there. He was thankfully able to land safely. And then we had a a Cirrus that ended up pulling their chute and landed safely in Cherry Creek State Park, which is north of the airfield, and both occupants were able to get out. Again, so this one was off airport, and thankfully we had better access. And just a couple of incidents where we've had landing gears collapse and or experimental planes that ran off of a runway or the side of a runway. So anytime we get an alert 3, it's great to see occupants and souls that are out walking around when we get there. And a lot of times we slow our incident down. So fuel leaks are very common. We try to do as much as we can to mitigate fuel leaks, working with the pilots to determine what the best solutions may be, and then obviously working with the airport to work on salvage or removing the plane. And they've got some contractors that are up there that do a wonderful job of getting those planes moved out and moved off of the runways. Just a little bigger jet that came in. He had a nose gear that was turned, so we get to deal with a lot, which is great. We're very versatile and very comfortable in what we do. Metroliner at night, again, landing gear collapsed. We had a pretty decent fuel leak on this, to where the right side of the aircraft, we ended up having to lift with some airbags and crib with some blocking to get to a fuel leak so that we could mitigate that. Just an unfortunate belly up landing that we had here a couple weeks ago. But again, the individual was able to get out of the plane, and we were able to take the opportunity to train some of our newer ARFF team folks with aircraft and looking inside of a fuselage and a cockpit to show them proper shutdown procedures and what we're looking for when we are asking you all, or pilots, have you shut down or secured your plane? A lot of times we utilize you as the subject matter expert. You guys know your planes better than we do, and when you say yes, everything's shut down, we trust you, but we go in to verify. Obviously, with the Magneto and a lot of the single engine props still holding a charge, we want to make sure that we're keeping people away from the nose, but also ensuring that your plane's been shut down. And we understand you've been through a pretty harrowing experience, and you may be a little a little jazzed up with a little higher heart rate than normal. Totally get that. But if you come into Centennial and have an issue, we may ask you, hey, do you mind just showing us your shutdown procedure? And a lot of times something gets missed, or we'll fix it and then we'll turn it off and we'll make you aware of it. We get a lot of hot breaks for whatever reason. So we, instead of applying any type of water to the exotic metals that typically make up a landing gear, we cool them with fans. So we'll sit on them for a while and just get some passive ventilation and airflow over those landing gears just to try to cool them down to a temperature in which we're comfortable, and then work with the airport and the pilot to ensure that the plane can get moved off of wherever they're located. Centennial obviously has a lot of military aircraft that come in and out of there. We have a contractor up there that works with military aircraft. So it's not infrequent to see, a handful of F-18s or an A-10 or C-130, Apache. We get a lot of military. There's a government contract that they have for fueling, and the restaurant there, the Perfect Landing, does a wonderful job in hosting those individuals. So we get a lot of military aircraft. So trying to be versed in military aircraft is another area that we try to improve. If we know that they're coming in or we see them do a flyover before landing, a lot of times we'll try to get up there and talk with the pilots and work through, hey, what are some things that we need to worry about if you crash here at Centennial in areas that are concerning to us, or any munitions that they may have. They're not supposed to land with munitions, but they do, and they have several of the military aircraft when they're on fire can produce toxic chemicals, and they've got a lot of fuel and just the explosive, the ejection seats and the C4 and the deck core that are in the canopy. So we do the best we can with the military aircraft. Thankfully, we have a partnership with Buckley and then Peterson, if needed, where we can have them come in with a go team to help us out. And then rotorcraft, a lot of rotorcraft coming into and out of Centennial, so we're increasing our awareness and understanding of the rotorcraft that we have coming in there. United Rotorcraft, which is on the north side of the airfield, they're producing these Firehawk helicopters, which is a Black Hawk on steroids. So, and then obviously the Heliplex that we have is another area of interest. So we do as much as we possibly can, get into hangars, get into aircraft with owners that are willing to allow us to come up there and look at their aircraft. It's been very beneficial and allows us to have a better understanding of not just fixed wing, but rotorcraft as well, and the nuances that come with them. So the South Metro Regional ARFF training facility is fairly new. We've had a facility out there for, probably 10 to 15 years. It's on the southwest side of the airport, right off of 35 left, if you're familiar with the airport. But up until recently, it was just kind of about an acre and a half that had an old Cessna fuselage on it. And so several years ago, I started working with the airport and on a vision that we had to kind of increase the capabilities and the capacity that we have for training not only South Metro individuals, but regional partners that are within the state of Colorado. So we've worked pretty hard here the last couple of years, increased it to a little bit over 5 acres, added some recycled asphalt, and we've got 2 Dornier props, fuselages that we've turned into. They used to be our training props for fire props until last year when we received our live fire prop that I've got a picture coming up in the next screen. But bottom left of this one, that's our live fire prop that the airport was gracious enough to purchase for us last year. And it allows us to do some really, really wonderful training for aircraft emergencies. So just here's kind of what it looks like. It's thankfully it's on a concrete pad that we poured last year, and it's um, uh, it's allowed us to bring all of our training in-house. So instead of sending people off to a school at $1,500 a person, not including travel and hotel expenses, we can save that and then put that back into the ARFF team and the ARFF training facility. So we just got done with the training. Mike was talking to me earlier about a video he saw that we produced on South Metro's YouTube channel. That we did a regional burn for 13 South Metro folks and then some other folks from Larkspur and Bennett. And Bennett is trying to ramp up their operation because they now have the spaceport out there. But just an overall picture, upper right corner is just kind of a bigger look at the facility and the capabilities. So the live trainer, it's propane fueled. It's got 9 different live fire locations. We can set a fire in a cockpit, the passenger cargo hold. We can do an exterior wheel fire, engine, APU, the fuselage, and then the fuel pans, which is kind of the bigger fire on the right-hand side. Signifies a fuel spill that is then caught on fire. We have a big control panel that we set up out there that we can control where we ignite, where things are, or we can have everything burn at the same time. So it's been a great enhancement for us, and truly appreciate the partnership that we have with the airport. And emergencies don't just happen during the day, so we take the opportunities we can to burn at night. And get out on the airport at night to navigate through what is kind of a dark abyss, other than the lighting that you all have become accustomed to. But for some of our folks, it's new, and so working at the airport at night, running fires or these simulated fires is certainly a possibility. So this is just a night fire that we were doing this last summer. We try to make it as realistic as possible. We've put a tail number on it. So AR stands for aircraft rescue, and then the R stations of 35 and 44 are tail number. We tried to do an N number, but the airport wasn't super thrilled about that. So we obliged and went with something a little bit different. So like they mentioned in kind of the opening, we don't always respond to just the aircraft that are coming in. There's a pretty significant amount of structures that are up at the airport, so we're also responsible for providing fire protection and medical response to all the hangars and the commercial occupancies that are within the airport property and the surrounding area. So we get very familiar with the fire alarm systems and the sprinkler systems and CAF systems that they have in some of these hangars, and operating around those. And we talked about the fuel forms, so mainly avgas and Jet A. There is some diesel and unleaded up there. They have the above ground and below ground fuel tanks. There's 11 fuel farms in total that we have up there, and they typically hold right around 370,000 gallons at any given point on the airfield. May not seem like a lot, and 15 million gallons is what DIA is running through their piping every day, but for us, it's certainly a target hazard that we're very aware of, and also build trainings on, and then the vehicles and the trucks that are bringing in roughly about 90,000 gallons of avgas or Jet A on a daily basis to keep their stockpiles full. So with that, I don't have anything else. I appreciate you all sitting in and listening. I'd be happy to answer any questions. Mike, I haven't been looking at the chat, so I don't know if there's any questions, or I don't know how you want to facilitate asking questions.
Well, the first question that's up there is, what is Purple K?
Purple K, it's a great question. Purple K is a powder chemical that is very similar to a fire extinguisher that you would see in your residence or a commercial occupancy. We use it as a chemical to inhibit a chemical reaction. So it's mainly used on what we call a three-dimensional fire. So if we have a fuselage that's on fire and it's coming from the engine nacelle or from one of the wings and it's dripping down to the ground and then lighting off a pool of gas, that's what we would call a three-dimensional fire. So we will utilize Purple K in trying to interrupt that chemical reaction of that fire. So we'll use water or water and foam, and then we inject Purple K into those streams to try to break that reaction up and knock the fire out. So that we just now have a fuel leak and then fuel on the ground, in which then we can suppress with a foam blanket.
Okay. Yeah, I had done some reading earlier this week, different types of classes of fire: Class A, Class B, Class C, and I ran around and I came across one today, and I didn't see the definition of it, but it was Class D as in Delta. What is that?
Yep. It's a metal fire. So
metal.
Magnesium. Search YouTube magnesium fire. They're a lot of fun. When you apply water to magnesium that's on fire, you get some pretty decent sparks and this bright white glow, and so we certainly know when we're dealing with a magnesium fire. But yeah, so a metal fire, metal shavings, things that involve metal would be a Class D.
Okay, I did have that. Now that you mentioned, I did have some metal shavings in a manufacturing plant that I worked in that caught on fire by itself, just sitting there in a tin.
Sure.
Another question we have: any special EMT aircraft responses or alert procedures?
So we are all cross trained in either in EMS. So there are a handful of us, or there's some that are paramedics, which is the highest level of field care for emergency medicine. But all of our people that respond to the airport have a minimum certification of an EMT basic. So we do have a standard in which is a job requirement for our folks. And so, yeah, if you're getting our response, there is somebody that's going to be medically trained. And then the medic unit that comes with us, there's two paramedics that are on there that can provide a higher level of care. But we've got a lot of folks that are on our engines and towers that are also paramedics as well. So
okay, good. Another question is, what do you expect of a pilot who lands on airport property after an incident, collapsed gear, departure from runway, etc.? Where should the PIC marshal crew and passengers? Should a pilot try to fight a fire with the small aircraft extinguisher or not? And who is the first to arrive and find the pilot?
Yes, great question. So if it depends on how big the fire is. If you feel comfortable trying to discharge an extinguisher to minimize or try and put it out before any of us arrive on scene, absolutely go for it. It's your aircraft. You have the right to do so, but make sure that you're doing it in a safe manner. If you've got passengers that are on board, get them as far away from the aircraft as possible. Make themselves visible. Don't have them lay down or sit down, but try to get them off the runway into the grassy areas between a runway or a taxiway. But you've got these ARFF apparatus that are coming in that are looking for people that are evacuating from a plane. And unfortunately, we've seen instances in the past where passengers that have collapsed or just have been trampled or run over by ARFF apparatus. So we try to get as far away as you possibly can from the aircraft and away from the nose or the tail, because that's typically where apparatus are going to set up. But the first arriving individual on scene typically is at least at Centennial, is airport operations. They'll come out. They'll try to identify who the pilot is and get some additional information from you. Hey, is everybody off? Did you shut down the plane? before you got off, and he'll have a bunch of questions. And then once we arrive, we're going to ask the same questions. Is everybody off? And have you shut down everything? We go through what we call TBAB. So it's throttles, bottles, APU, and batteries is the shutdown procedure that we like to go through. The last one being the batteries, because that's what enables the fire suppression systems in the engines if installed. So, but then we'll make sure that everybody's off, make sure that everybody's safe, and if we need to render emergency care, we'll start doing that. But we also have to mitigate any issues with the aircraft. So if you've got a fuel leak or anything else greater than that, then there's a certain set of us that will start working on the mitigation of the aircraft incident, and then some others, if we have the manpower and the personnel to do so, we'll start initiating patient care, knowing that we have additional resources that are coming in that can help us with that.
Okay. Another question is, I had read that there's training for state certification as well as Part 139 certification. Now, is that for the firehouse group or the individual firefighter?
So, yeah, the state certification is for individuals that join our team. The FAA certification is very similar. The Part 139 FAA certification is almost the same standard in which we are training our folks to in the state standard. So the difference is we've been trying to get our curriculum and our training facility approved by the FAA as a 139 facility, but it's taken a significant amount of time to try to do that. So in the interim, in the meantime, we still train them to a individual state certification in which they have to recertify every 3 years. But the Part 139, there's two pieces of that: the certification and then the requirements of the Part 139, in which we try to uphold with Centennial meeting the Bravo Index. We meet that with the apparatus that we have and the training that we have and the capabilities that we have. We just don't meet it based off of response time. So it's and not having an airport station on the airport grounds.
Okay. Wow. Now, the other thing I saw was very interesting, the equipment list. And
Sure.
does each of your trucks carry the same equipment? Because I know that equipment list is pretty extensive. It goes in all the different tools, the saws, the jaws of life. Does each truck have the same type of tools or the same amount?
Yes. So they're big toolboxes on wheels. So we like to with Red 2, they have the vast majority of our tooling. And then on the other two, so Red 1 and then Red 3, we've kind of broken up the tooling into onto both of those trucks, since they'll both be coming. But they're whether you get all three or you get Red 1 and you get Red 3, the tooling and the equipment will be the same. And if all of them show up, then we have double the equipment and duplication of what we can provide.
Oh, the other two fuselages that you have in the practice area, do you get to try out the jaws of life and the saws on those?
We do not. We're looking at one of the props turning into a cut prop and a piercing prop. It's a little bit older, and we've used it for quite a few years now, and it's just starting to show its age. But the other prop still has a functioning door, or all the doors are functioning on it. So we'd like to keep it as nice as possible, just so that we can utilize it for training and allowing people to see what the different access points are, how to operate the doors, the different overwing accesses, and we can, since we can shut everything up, we will have a smoke generator that we can put in there to simulate smoky conditions. Okay. And putting victims or Kevlar mannequins inside and having them work through the complexities of a very tight fuselage and getting people that may not be ambulatory out of those fuselages. So whether that's using a skateboard to roll them down the aisle, or using a typical backboard, which is a hard, rigid plastic board that you typically see on a lot of these shows on TV. We can slide them over the chairs or the seating arrangement, but it's just a different way, different craft of getting people out, and so we try to keep that one as nice as we can. But we're always looking for fuselages and things that we can train. We do have a set of wings up there that we use for practicing cutting and the different materials and so forth of cutting through a fuselage and the ribs and a lot of the different cut points that we're trying to stay within, especially on bigger jets that have a row of windows. We've got cut points that are 12 inches above and below those windows until we start getting into the hydraulics for the wire and the fuel line. So yeah, we do have some. We're always looking for more. So if you know of somebody wanting to donate a fuselage that's got wings and a landing gear, we're always looking for those.
Yeah, one of the things I saw, which I thought was amazing, was a steel penetrator that penetrated the fuselage of the aircraft, and then it just flowed water in like you wouldn't believe. I was like, whoa! I didn't realize you had one of those things.
Yeah, so we have it's a piercing nozzle. So each of our trucks carry a piercing nozzle. You'll see other types of airports, typically larger airports, international airports that have commercial services that are coming in, larger airplanes. They have kind of a snorkel-looking thing that's up on top of their truck. That's called an HRET. It's a high-reaching extendable turret that allows them to kind of boom up, and then this nozzle will come down and can pierce, and then it sprays this mist on the inside. But we do have the piercing nozzles. It's a tool in our toolbox that we certainly can use if we can't get into the fuselage or it's suffered a hard landing and there's a fire on the inside. One thing that we're very cognizant of is anytime we have flame impingement on a fuselage, we've got about 90 seconds until that flame starts burning through the fuselage. So our first go-to is utilizing our turrets, getting water and foam on a fuselage so that we mitigate that burn through into the passenger compartment.
Wow. One of the questions from one of the people online here is, can you expand on the system you have in the airport tower for alerting the firehouse? And do you ever talk directly to the tower for taxi clearances, info updates, or does that all go through the dispatch?
Yeah, so the system that they have in the tower, it's called First In Alerting, and they do have a website on there. But basically, what they have sitting up there amongst all their other screens is a typical computer module to touchscreen computer screen that has several different buttons on it that goes through alert 1, alert 2, alert 3, what runway, and then the problem nature, whether it's a landing gear, an engine, hydraulic, smoke in the cockpit. I'm trying to remember what the other ones are that they have, but they can, once a pilot has declared an emergency, they'll go over and they'll hit 3 buttons and they hit send, and that information then automatically gets sent to both of our ARFF stations. So they're pre-alerted. The information also, they have a red phone that ties directly into our dispatch center. And so they'll start getting information to our dispatchers so that they can build the call in our CAD system, and then dispatching the additional units that are going to be responding with us. And so it's pretty seamless. It's cut down on our turnout time, which has been great. So we really enjoy it. And then to your other question, we typically we do not. I would never say never, but we work very closely with the airport operations folks. They're on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they will get clearance for us. They'll talk to the tower on on their frequency. That the tower has a radio up there, so we hear what the airport operations folks are asking for as far as the clearances, and the tower hears what our intentions are to get out to into the movement area. But ultimately, it's airport operations that's getting that clearance for us, and then coming back direct to us saying, yes, you've got clearance at this location to get out to this location.
Wow. Okay. Now, on your trucks, you talked about, I'm just going to use an example here, 1,500 gallons of water, 500 gallons of foam, and maybe 500 pounds of some powder.
Yeah, Purple K.
And one of the things that I read about, say the 1,500 gallons of water, at full force trying to put out a fire, how long will that 1,500 gallons last, time-wise?
2 minutes.
That's what I thought I read. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, that's fast.
Yes. So we have on the turrets that you see here that are flowing over the pilot that is retiring. We have a top turret that's on top of the truck, and then we also have what we call a bumper turret. That's the lower turret. We have two different settings. So we have a 325 GPM gallon per minute setting and a 750 gallon per minute setting. All of our turrets are set to 325 gallons. If we were to hit a Cessna with a 750 gallon per minute stream, we would significantly impact the structure of that, flip it over or push it. So we've dialed our turrets down to the lower flow, so we save water, and then but it also still is plenty enough of us to get water where we need to.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, from what you were talking about in the presentation, you had 7 firefighters at one station and 4 firefighters at the other station. So it looks like you have 11 firefighters per shift. Is that correct?
Right, for that are dedicated to ARFF.
Okay.
So typically on any given day within South Metro's district, we have 30 stations, and we have about 130 to 140 firefighters that are on duty at any given day. With Station 35 and 44 being ARFF, we will bring in additional resources. They may not be ARFF trained, but we can utilize them for manpower and any other objective that we need to complete. So we'll bring them in. We'll be the subject matter expert for the call, but then we'll direct them to a specific task or location or objective that we need to get done. So we could, in theory, we could have 30 to 40 firefighters on a larger scale incident that we may need just for overall manpower. And then with the foam that we're dealing with, we will bring in our hazmat team for decontamination of any souls that may have gotten into the foam, and then our firefighters that will need to be deconned with their gear. And then we also have the aspect of a plane that is unstable that we need to stabilize via cribbing or blocking or airbags that are pneumatic and that we can blow up and stabilize. So our tech team we've got a technical rescue team that can come in and help us stabilize. And then being in a flight path with Reuter Hess to our south and then Cherry Creek Reservoir to our north, our dive team individuals are trained in recovery of aircraft and civilians or souls that are on board from aircraft that have gone into the water. We actually have a fuselage at Chatfield Reservoir that is submerged, and so they get to practice that as well. So there are a lot of different nuances that go into it, different capabilities, but at any given time on alert 2, which is the kind of where we respond, it's a medium level. You'll have anywhere between 11 and 15 that are showing up, and we can increase that to really any number that we need to mitigate the incident.
Okay. Wow. Now, I had read somewhere if there's 30 or more passengers on the plane, a fire truck or something has to be on the field. Is that correct?
That is, 15 minutes before departure and for 15 minutes after departure, or 15 minutes before arrival or after arrival. Uh, Typically, we don't get those requests since Centennial isn't getting those types of planes yet. But it's certainly something that is on our radar, and if we're made aware of it, we'll certainly facilitate having somebody on standby. We do get a lot of requests from international flights that are coming into Centennial and wanting us to be up on the airfield for their insurance purposes. And so we've got a standby agreement that we've come up with that we charge for them, and we'll get off-duty folks to come in and staff apparatus if that's what they want. But typically, after we go through what our response is, what our capabilities are, the insurance companies are very comfortable with allowing that plane to land at Centennial without having us on standby.
Okay, yeah, you got. I've seen a few big Gulf Streams come in, so I was wondering about that. I had seen something last year, and it was in England, and that's what prompted this whole me getting together with you.
Sure.
They did a demonstration in England of aircraft and fire extinguishers, and as of 2025, Halon fire extinguishers are not allowed in GA aircraft in England. Is there anything going on with Halon here in the U.S. for as far as GA?
Not that I am aware of. I know it's very common in a lot of the aircraft and or the engine suppression systems. So I have not heard that. Typically, Europe is a little bit ahead of us in some of that and the environmental aspects of it. But I have not heard that yet.
Okay, yeah, I saw them. They took an old fuselage of a plane and they used the chemical powder, and
Sure.
that was like, oh my god, that all the electronics are toast now.
Yes, yes, and to your point, we're very aware of the electronics in the cockpits, and so we do everything we can. We'll bring a clean agent extinguisher into a cockpit as well. So we don't want to dispel a halogenated or powdered extinguisher on your Garmin navigation system or whatever avionics that you have in there. We do our best for property conservation.
Mm. Question we have from somebody watching: are any of the firefighters also pilots?
Yes, they are. We have an individual that used to fly for a regional airport or a regional airline that he got out. He had a passion for firefighting as well. And then we have another individual that he flies a Falcon on his days off for a company, and then we have several that are going through flight school right now that are very interested in flying, and being on the team has made their interest even greater. So yes,
That's good. That's pretty good. Now you read a lot in the magazines and on YouTube stuff where the pilots don't want to declare an emergency. If they don't declare an emergency, are you guys called by the tower at all, even though they're having some difficulty?
nope, no. We may get notified of, hey, this is happening, but if you don't, and the tower could override that if they know that it's going to lead to something greater. But typically, they want to hear from you that you want to declare the emergency, unless it's very very obvious that you're having an emergency, or they can't get radio communication to you, or there's certain things that they their threshold of. But they'll make us aware that something come in, so we may start heading that way just without our lights and sirens on, just to be ready. But yeah, we're typically waiting for you guys to declare that, and then with that comes how many souls on board, how much fuel do you have? Those are all things that we really like to get as we're responding to the airport.
Okay. Oh. So say Station 35 gets called out to a non-airport emergency.
Yep.
Station 44 gets called out to a non-airport emergency, and then there's an airport emergency. What's plan B?
We have plan B, C, D, E, and F. So we will the crews are typically are listening to their radios when they're on these calls that they're away from the airport. If something comes in, our dispatchers will immediately dispatch units to the airport, and we'll start a response there. All of our apparatus have those guidebooks that I showed you on one of those first couple of slides that will allow them to start kind of looking through and seeing what the aircraft looks like. They all have an airport map as to where they need to go, how they need to get there. They're all aware. I just produced a video that's going to go out to all of our folks starting May 1st. That is a reminder of where to go on the airfield, who to contact, and that'll be a yearly refresher. So we start a response there. And then if engine 44 and or tower 35 are able to break from their call, they will, and they'll respond back to the station to get the ARFF apparatus. Since it's not a non-indexed airport, we still meet the requirements of a response with outside folks, knowing that we're going to do our best to get ARFF apparatus there.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have any questions? I've kind of monopolized the whole thing. Anybody else have any questions for Pierce? Okay. All right. I did notice in some of my readings that the airport has to do an inspection twice a day, one during the day and one during the nighttime. And it said that sometimes the fire department would help out.
Yes.
Excuse me. Do your departments help out?
We do not, and I'm assuming for like a FOD check is what they're inspecting the runways for, and just overall integrity. We do not help with those. We are working through something similar. The newer trucks that we have DEF on them, so it's DEF is a cleaning agent for the diesel exhaust system, and so in order for us to clean those out properly, we need to get those up to operating temperature. So we're working and looking to try and get a monthly rundown and back of the one of the runways, just to try to get our trucks up to operating temperature, just because we don't get them up to operating temperature to and from the airport. So, but we do air runway testing with our apparatus every year that meets the UL standard. It's a brake test, speed test, acceleration. But once you get in one of those big trucks and you go 0 to 50 in about 15 seconds and 0 to 75 in less than 60, and you're moving down a runway, it's a pretty exhilarating feel. So we'd love to do more of it. We do a lot of night training up there when it's a little quieter at the airport, just to familiarize our folks and work with airport operations and getting clearances and getting out to certain spots. We'll set up an incident location they've got to respond to and get back from, just to work with communications and intent and how to get across a moving area and get those clearances.
Now, when you're doing the simulator with that metal airplane and you got the 9 different fires that you can start in the airplane,
yep.
Are you burning any type of like seat cushions in there, or tires, or trying to simulate plastics that might be in an airplane?
No, unfortunately, in a clean burn prop like that, NFPA 1403 doesn't allow us to do that.
Okay.
So we are strictly allowed to burn propane in there, and we have gotten away from burning any type of plastics, or we used to burn tires a lot to get it really dark and sooty, but the effects that it has on not only our people and the gear, but the toll it takes on the actual prop itself. isn't very good. So we keep it to a clean burn. We do have a smoke machine that's built into that prop, so we can smoke it out to the point where you can't see your hand in front of your face, which is always fun to get people in. So we can simulate as best we can, but no, we unfortunately do not. We're not burning any Class A or B material.
Okay. Now, when you're doing the night simulations, it's kind of on the topic, off the topic. I bet you your station gets a lot of phone calls.
We do, yeah. We've got there's a property with a parking lot that kind of abuts the training facility, and there's a lot of aviation photographers that like to go out there. It's a great spot, and on those nights that we're burning, yeah, there is an increase in traffic that's parked there, and we would absolutely love anybody to come out and watch and be a part. Yeah, it's and we notify our dispatch center, and the tower is obviously aware, and we've got certain things that we got to be cognizant of, and with our proximity to 35 left, 17 right. Wind conditions have to be correct for us to utilize a smoke machine. That way, we're not pushing smoke across the runway. So, yeah, we're pretty diligent about what we do, but it's fun. Night burns are great. We really enjoy it.
We had another comment. He says, the person says, the mobile phone app Pulse Point is great to hear the South Metro dispatches. I have it set to let me know when there is a potential airport call out.
Yeah, good. Yeah, so we used to have it set to where you'd see alert 1, 2, or 3, but we've since changed that. So now it's just an aircraft emergency. So when you're on Pulse Point or you see an alert come in, and there's only a few apparatus, you know that it's an alert 2. But if it's a lot of apparatus that are listed on there, you knew it was an alert 3. So.
Wow, pretty good. Any other questions out there?
Yes, I got one.
Okay, go ahead.
You mentioned, I think that when you approach an airplane on the field, you approach from the left side. Is that right?
Yes. Well, we will come in from the 12 o'clock, just offset the 12, just offset the 6, and then one of our apparatus will approach from the left. Yep.
One from the left. Okay. Well, you do know that most Beech and Piper single engine products have their doors on the right side.
Yep.
Right on top of a fuel tank.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And that, I think there was a picture, but yes, we are aware, and that's kind of one of the one-offs where looking at that book, that helps us determine which side we're going to go to. But the majority of the time, I guess never say never, right? But we go to the left just because it's of the access. But yes, it's a great point. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else out there have any questions? Again, if you would like wings credit for this program, email me at flightsafety@coloradopilots.org. I appreciate that. Any questions, anybody? Okay. All right. Oh. All right. Well, Pierce, thank you very much for accepting our invitation to do this. I've been wanting to do this for a while. My next door neighbor is a firefighter, and I talked to him about it last year, and he sent me in the right direction. So I appreciate that.
Great. Yeah. No, thanks for having me. I hope you all enjoyed it or got something out of it. And certainly if you have questions in the future, Mike knows how to get a hold of me. So we're always looking. And if anybody has aircraft or a hangar at Centennial, we'd love to get in contact and take any opportunity we could to learn more about your aircraft or your hangar. So.
Okay. Comments. Thanks for the info. Thanks. Excellent presentation. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
All right. I'm definitely going to keep my eyes open next time I do a nighttime burn. I'd like to come out there and watch that. That'd be pretty interesting.
Perfect. Typically it's in June, so little warmer, but yeah.
Oh gosh. All right. All right. Again, thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate that. And everybody that tuned in, excellent response tonight. Excellent attendance. Thank you much, and stay tuned for next month. We got something else coming up here in the next couple months. Everything's in the queue. All right. Thank you.